I'm here, Yoshida. Welcome to the stream. Wake up late today. But technically didn't wake up late today. But I know. It's more like I didn't wake up late, but technically I did wake up late. So, I was awake. I stream at 10 a.m. right? On my Sunday. It's gonna be Saturday for you, but it's on my Sunday, 10 a.m. Actually wake up at like 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. and then I'm like, I gotta wait 1 hour. Let's take a nap or something. Actually, I did take a nap, and whoa, already 10:30. But that's how it is. But I'm here now. Yeah, maybe in those kind of case, I should have just like stream early. I think better than being late, I guess. So I'm drinking my coffee right now. You know, just chilling, drinking my coffee, and I'm gonna begin the stream. It's also raining right now. It's been raining. It's been raining like 4 days straight or something over here in Thailand. I also took a small nap after the morning late stream, but woke up from a nightmare. What nightmare? Well, I don't know. Don't tell me. Don't tell me if you don't want to tell me, I guess. By the way, I should put the chat box in here. Yeah. What's this? Yeah, I should put the chat box in this window also, I think. Yep. It's been raining every day, and like, I don't know if you guys can hear it barely. It's not raining hard right now, but as I said before, my room is like near a garage with like a metal roof. So when it rains hard, it's like unlivable. My room is unlivable when it's raining hard, just because of the sound of the rain pouring down on a metal roof. It gets pretty loud. I stabbed in the chest by an 8-bit cat with a knife. I woke up with a small pain on my chest. Ah, I see. It's okay, Yoshida, it's okay. I don't hear the rain, so it's fine. Yeah, it's not raining hard at least. It's like pitter patter right now. Pitter patter. 8-bit cat. So, I'm planning on making emotes today, as promises. And I've been thinking about it for the whole week. I've been taking my time to think about it, what I'm gonna do. And I came to a conclusion that like, I I should just you know, since mostly when I stream. Oh hey, thanks for the host. Thanks for the host, Yoshida channel. Thanks for the host. Yeah, I've been thinking that like yeah, since most of the time when I stream, it's just been us. It's been us talking, you know. It's just been us hanging out. I think it's best if I give back to the community with their emotes. So I was thinking I'm going to do a user submitted emote, I think, for my stream. So you know, if you have any emotes like that you want me to do, like if you have like your character that you want me to do, then you know, you tell me and then I'll do it. I think I'm gonna do is like one emote per person, something like that. Yeah, gotta leave some space for other people. How many emote do you get for like being affiliate anyway? Five? Get up only 5? Damn. Can they pay Twitch money to like get more space? New version. Community member can use the emote to communicate. Start with one custom emote. Unlocking more emote depending on number of subscriber points given channels earned. Twitch calculate this by taking into consideration number of subscriber and to which tier each subscriber can sign up for. So they are able to get up to 5 Twitch emotes, and you can check here to see how many emotes would be available to subscriber here. 5 emotes aren't gated, meaning once you earn those slots, you can keep them. If you receive unsubscribed, that costs you 400 certain tier, you still keep the emote slot. Oh, I see. Sorry you're cutting me off for a bit, Oni. Don't know if your connection... Oh my... I'm not sure myself if the stream is getting woozy or what. I was kind of skimming through the Twitch rules, so I might be speaking very fast, so it might be that also. You get more emote space when getting a sponsor. How can I check my emote space though? Is there like a place where I can check for my emote space? Real producer maybe. Try this. How to submit emotes on Twitch. Viewer reward, then emotes. Subscriber emote. On the left hand sidebar, viewer reward emotes. Here we go. So standard emotes 1, tier 2 standard emotes 1, tier 3 standard emote is 1. Only have 3 slots right now. Okay. I don't know, never had a sub button. I don't know any of this like Twitch technical stuff at all, I'll be honest. So it seems like I have 3 slots right now. Okay, I finished my coffee. And that coffee is way too sweet, dude. I had to drink water right after I finished the coffee to down the taste. um, I'm close to getting a sub button on my Twitch account, but I don't really care if I don't get, since I only stream to draw my progress. Oh, I see. I should go visit your stream one day, but like outside of my stream time, outside of my stream date, I rarely play Twitch, to be honest. So like besides like Sunday, Saturday, Friday, I don't really like came to Twitch that often.
That's why I believe you. That's why I deceive you. There's no one I can be with to somewhere. That's why I love you, and that's why I leave you. Still I hear you call my name.
You don't have to. Oh, I don't think I see that emote. Oh, okay. That emote. Okay, let's begin the stream. So, what emotes do you want me to draw, Yoshida? Actually, by the way, I need to clean my synthetic monitor so bad. It's getting a bit dusty. Smug face Dizzy. Smug face Dizzy? Okay. You can do your character if you want, I think. By the way, I'm gonna do all the emotes in pixel art form. Just cause I figure I know how to do pixel art, so I might as well use that knowledge, right? And I think emo is just the perfect form of media to use pixel art on. You wanna draw my OC? Yeah, sure. Let it be that like this channel has like a combination of a lot of people OC. Let it be that way, I think. So you have any OC you want me to draw? Okay, let's do that then. Don't have a new version of Natsuko, but I'll send you a sketch and old model in the Discord. Post in Discord, okay. Okay, gotcha. And what kind of, like, what expression do you want for her? A smart for sure. Okay. Is she like a smart girl? I don't know. I can't tell from can't tell from your word. Not that it's a bad thing. Just saying that, like, you know. I can't say anything for sure from looking at your illustration. Okay, let's do it. I think I'm gonna have my character in too. So one emotes for me and one emotes for you. That's like 2 emotes already. There's only 3 emote slots. I need more emote slots, to be honest. I need more emote slot to accommodate for all my viewers. Natsuko is a cheerful character, but when in combat she became serious. Oh. By the way, I didn't do like pixel art in a long time, so hopefully it doesn't come out too weird. You can try Twitch TTV. You gotta redraw her again with my. I redraw her again with my current art style. Oh, I see. Twitch TTV is like better TV, right? Twitch TV is mostly like extra emotes. It's extra emotes, but like if you wanna see it, you have to install the Twitch TV, right? Yeah, I can leave it that, I think. So those who doesn't have the extension would look at the people typing out the GDV emotes like they're crazy. Is it a popular extension though? I know Better TV. Never heard of the Twitch TTV. Sure, it's pretty hard working in a limited space. Yeah, it's called Better TTV. Oh, okay. So it's the same extension. Does she have a ponytail or side ponytail? Side ponytail? Ah, okay. you doing this in 500 canvas, by the way? No, I do 112 to 112. Is it recommend for 500? Oh, at this stage I can still enlarge it, but yeah. Is it actually 500 by 500? From most of my friend told me is the recommended. Uh, I thought it was like any size, but it had to be like the same size. Let's do 500 by 500 then. Hey, Esu, welcome to the stream. Hey, you're in time, Esu. Because I'm doing a community emotes. So, Esu, what emotes do you want to, what emotes do you like me to draw? So yeah, I'm planning on. Yeah, I was saying this earlier this morning for Yoshida, but I said like, you know, I stream every weekend, but whenever I stream, it's always just be like us hanging out, So, so now that I'm doing emotes, I'm planning on accepting emotes from my viewers. So yeah, that's what I've been thinking. Like OC, your character. Yeah, OC. You're OC. Only one emote per person though. Because I'm running out of emotes slots. Oh, but with 500, it's like my pixel actually gets like a bit. It can be done, I guess. It actually wouldn't look like that pixelated though. I'll send on Discord. Okay. Hey, thank you for the party. Yeah, only thanking the community. Yeah, thank you guys. I think I did like a 500 pixel art before. I don't have much of an idea because sudden offer, but can be creative. You're like, it's fine. So just think of something on top of your head. It's not like a big deal or anything like that. Oh. Let me see the emote size again. Should be of resolution between 112. I think I'll stick to the small one, just because it's a pixel art form, so it's just a bit. It fit the media a bit better, I think. It's kind of weird seeing other drawing my OC. It's called a fan art, Yoshida. It's called fan art. Sent? Okay. Yeah, I saw it. I'll take a look. I'll take a look when I get to US. So gotta finish Yoshida first. By the way, Smart is already taken. Okay, so you can't take Smart anymore because Smart is already taken. Dude, everybody's gonna take Smart. I'm telling you. Everybody is like competing for the Smart emote, but it's already taken. So. Smart is good. It's understandable. Yeah, Smart is probably the thing that came to mind for a lot of people. Let's do this. First come, first serve. First come, first serve for Smart, yeah. There's only 3 emote slots here though, so it's you, it's Yoshida, it's Esu, and then like who else? Like one more guy. Maybe I'll just take it for myself. The last one. So you know, give me money, I guess, if you want more emote slots. Segue into being a sellout here. Only one his money is mascot one just so yeah. Exactly. I forgot how I do like my pixel art array, I'll be honest. So for Smart, you know, just call it pixel art. I gotta use the space very smartly too. It should be darker. What's the accessory beside her hair, by the way? Okay, it's a ribbon. I see. This looks like you're making a pixel game. I guess. Do I normally do this for all my pixel work? The outline outside of the head thing. I totally forget how my pixel work look like, to be honest. Kinda. I hate summer. My allergies start to kick in when summer come around. Yeah, I hate allergies too. I hate it that like you can't get rid of it. It sucks. It sucks like when you can't breathe normally. hate the season I'm in right now, though. The rainy season. Wait, is it a rainy season now? I don't even know. Not so sure about my season, but it has been raining like a lot. Been raining like continuously for like the past 4 days. Crazy, dude. And like everything is getting like so damp and stuff. I hate it. One expression have been taken? Smart. That's the one expression. For some reason too, in summer my body just doesn't want to listen to me, so I would kind of lose my taste bud. Really? I used to think that I have this allergy which caused me to like not be able to breathe. It's like not like I can't breathe, but it's like it get hard to breathe because I get like stuffy nose all the time. Hey, it's May theme. Yay. Yeah, like I get stuffy nose all the time. But it turned out that like I just buy like air, not air conditioner, like the machine that filter your air, filter dust around your room, and that really helped for me. I'm taking the smart face, Isu. Yoshida's claiming the smart face. I was wondering which of. And this is only Yoshida and you today, right now, Isu. So yeah, it's only that for now. The word is great, Oni. Thank you. You're making me want to commission something for you to draw now. I'm still got my hand through at the moment, Yoshida. I really like how I made Natsuko hoodie. Oh, how do you make it? So like, what do you wanna present about her hoodie?
Every time you call, I'm rushing all the way there. No slowing down. Oh, I won't. If I have to walk, no matter how far, as long as I'm close to you. It can be a mountain, the biggest ocean and sea. Nothing can stop me. Gonna always be you and me forever and never. I'll be here, yeah, right there. Yes, I promise you that I will. Just put your trust in me. We can fly high in the sky. We won't fall down, never. You know a love like this don't hardly come around that often. Here we are, right here in the middle of love. In the middle of love. You've got my heart right where you want it. Yes, you do. I can hide what I feel deep inside.
I was to combine it with a school uniform since at first I wanted Natsuko to be in a school uniform, but kind of went with a hoodie instead. So I just combined the school uniform a bit with hoodie style. Oh, I see. It does look like a sailor school uniform.
We'll be in each other's arms, no matter how gone so far. Said we'll be in each other's hearts, no matter how gone so far. Said we'll be in each other's heart. And if I never told you, you still should know. Your love's gonna follow me wherever I go. And I'm gonna give it up, gonna keep holding on to what we wanted. 'Cause this is real love, I need love. And nothing's gonna get in between our hearts. And together we can't go wrong. This thing's gonna keep going on and on, going on and on and on, yeah. La 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 la. Our love.
Is that smart enough? Is this smart enough, Yoshida?
Countless footsteps and two small ones that I haven't forgotten.
I don't know, lol.
Loud music, and I don't lie with no child free.
Yeah, let's go went through full phase of redesigning. Oh, that's when you know that like. That's when you know that like you make a good character. I was trying to do like the cat mouth, but I don't know. Is this Ram team? Last team was Anti team. Oh, done, dude, done. So what should we call this emote? Call it look great, thank you. Okay, I'll call it Natsuko Smart. Natsuko Smart, okay. Oh, there's one more thing that I want to put in if possible. Okay, it's done. Let's move on to Esu. Oh hey, Sky have notify me, send me something on Discord. Uh. Smart? Yeah, smart. Alright, let's move on to Esu. So what expression do you want, Esu? I don't know. You gotta tell me something. Yo, Sky is here. I was talking to him on Discord earlier. Hey, you gotta, dude. You just choose some expression, man. Welcome to the stream, Sky. Welcome to the stream. Hey, Coffee Brown. Welcome to the stream. I'm doing emotes from my channel today, but I'm accepting emotes from people in the chat right now. Although I only got 3 slots, so this is one, and then Esu is another one. So yeah, there's only 1 slot left. Welcome Sky, welcome Coffee Brand. Welcome. Well, if Esu could give me what expression he wants me to draw, we can finally move on. Come on, just choose that expression, Esu. Come on, man. Say it on Discord. Okay. I guess this expression, like a surprise expression. Okay, let's do it. Let's do like something like a Pikachu surprise face or something like that. I say you need a high at the very least. Oh yeah, that's true. That would be nice. A shock experience. It's like a surprise. Yeah, I guess not really like a shock, like a Pikachu surprise emote. I guess you know, there's only 1 slot left for the emotes because that's the limited I have. But I think I'm gonna just accept more than the slot I have, just in case in the future I get more emote slot, you know, so I don't have to like draw it then. That's a good plan. Yeah. Man, like the slot you start out with is like so little though. Like we got 3. I was expecting at least like 5 slot or something like that. I should use this emote for my Discord channel too, right? You can also do an ayaya. What is it, ayaya? What is it, ayaya? Yeah. Is that like supposed to be an expression? I think they're going to add some more slots too. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, you can hook it up to stops too. Yeah. Yo, let's just parody. I'm just gonna parody the Pikachu surprise face, okay? More soft. Yeah, it's a specific expression based on a character from Kiniro Mosaic, which everyone on Twitch got obsessed with. Oh, I see. How do we get more emote slot? Yeah, you have to have more sub or get more points. Oh hey, thank you. Esu just subscribe. Thank you, Esu. You should give a tier 1 sub to Esu. It's their first gift sub on this channel. Yay! Congratulations. Working towards those emote slots, dude. I hope that like eventually we'll have like one character from everybody here for the emotes or something like that. Would be nice. Oh yeah, why was Pikachu surprised in the Pikachu surprise phase anyway? Actually guys, let's listen to this video about why Pikachu is surprised in the original meme. I never know why he was surprised.
I love Pikachu, and I think a lot of other people agree with me. That tiny yellow electric mouse has kept...
You should pick a mascot character you like the most for high, so when he was spamming in other chat, everyone would be like, oh, where is that from? Ah, yeah, that's true, that's true. I'll do that then. I think I'll save high for my own character, I guess.
Captivated the world since 1999. But Pikachu has become more of a star than ever this year. And what do I mean by this? Well, Surprised Pikachu. That's right, Surprised Pikachu is a beloved meme. Everyone absolutely loves Surprised Pikachu. But where did this meme actually come from? Sign in and get ready to comment down below, because in this episode of Pokemon Theory, I'm going to discuss why Pikachu is surprised. If you didn't know, Surprised Pikachu is a silly meme that's used in a reactionary format to something that would surprise someone. Yes, I realize that this is pretty self-explanatory, but I still want to go over the basics. What is this? Meme review? What is this? Cowbelly stealing memes? What is this, a Facebook meme page with watermarks cropped out and memes zoomed in so far we can't even see half of it? No, this is Pokemon Theory. And this is a montage of Surprised Pikachu.
Hey Domo, welcome to the stream. How you doing today?
So
Hey,
now
Domo.
that you know about the meme, where and why did this happen?
Hey Domo, I'm making emotes for the channel right now. I want to submit some emotes for the channel. So I'm planning on taking user submitted emotes for my channel, cause how I look at it is like every time I stream, it's always been us, you know, hanging out. It's not like I don't really have a big stream, so it's just like the same people coming in. So I'm thinking for emotes, let's have the community submit me the emotes they want me to draw, and then I'll make it. I think that's how I'm gonna go. So I'm making Esu right now. It's gonna be like a surprise face. Making Yoshida is like a smug face. It's gonna be pixel art, by the way. It's gonna be pixel art. So Esu is going to be surprised. I think you definitely need Laughing one. Domo, yeah. I'm doing I'm doing good. How about yourself? I'm doing pretty fine. I woke up late today. I was going to start stream at 10 a.m. but I actually fall asleep at like 9 a.m. or something. I was going to take a short nap, but then I fall asleep, so I wake up at 10:30 instead. Um, Esu Pong? No, it's gonna be Esu Surprise. That's a glorious man. Thank you. So yeah, I was planning on making the emotes for and the emotes will be your character, will be all you guys character for my emotes. And it's all gonna be in pixel art, cause I know how to do pixel art, so might as well use it here, I guess. So Domo, submit your character for the emotes. Though I only have like 3 slot right now, so I think I'm gonna submit like my first 3 emotes first, and then but you can just say you request. Right now I'd rather just do it this week all together, and then when I have more slot, I'll just submit it later. Anyhow, so this emote is gonna be SU1 and it's gonna be like some surprise face. So I'm researching about the surprise Pikachu meme right now. It won't be a mascot as emote, but our OC. Yeah, it's going to be your OC. But I'm gonna have my OC for like the hello, for like the hi emote. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna probably have my OC for that one. It's neat, Oni. I thought you were planning on using your OC. Yeah, I was thinking of that too. I was thinking of like just using my character. But yeah, as I said, it's usually my stream is just like us hanging out. So we might as well like combine our power together. Okay. All right, let's get back to the video.
Within the episode, Bulbasaur in the Hidden Village, Ash encounters a particularly difficult Bulbasaur. Knowing that it's a rare Pokemon and was a starter Pokemon that Ash missed out on, Ash attempts to capture the Pokemon. Misty first attempts to capture an Oddish, and then tries with Bulbasaur and, well, fails. Yes, Starmie was beaten by a wild Bulbasaur. That is a gym leader's Starmie beaten by a Tackle Attack. 1 Tackle Attack. After a pathetic defeat.
Is this the episode where Ash get Bulbasaur? Like his first Bulbasaur in the first season? Cause I actually watched this episode when I was a kid. If that's the case. I don't remember the surprise Pikachu face though. Oh, that is so old. That's crazy.
Defeat, Ash steps in and attempts to capture Bulbasaur. After sending out Butterfree, Ash orders Butterfree to use Sleep Powder. Now, here's where everyone loses their mind. Bulbasaur inhales deeply and blows Sleep Powder away.
No, this is
In a later episode, Ash actually...
This is like explaining the origin of surprise Pikachu face.
Ordered Bulbasaur to use Whirlwind.
Bulbasaur, whirlwind!
So this wild Bulbasaur knows how to use Whirlwind. Let's just go ahead and chalk that up to anime logic. Bulbasaur blows the sleep powder back at Butterfree and then tackles it away. And thus, Surprise Pikachu is born. Wouldn't you be surprised if a wild Bulbasaur literally just defeated your trainer's Pokemon with 1 tackle attack? And hey man, I guess I really shouldn't have been helping you out. You're a pretty bad trainer. What is this attack? Double Edge? What is this? Bulbasaur's level 100? Real talk here. Even though Bulbasaur is one of the better Pokemon Ash gets, it never evolved in the series. So it really prompts the question of how weak Starmie and Butterfree actually were at the time. This is the same Pokemon, Butterfree, that defeated tons of Beedrill with Sleep Powder in an earlier episode. Just gonna throw that out there. And this is episode 10, so that means it wasn't really that far into the series. So back to Surprise Pikachu.
Alright, only I send you my reference album and some example expression too. Okay, gotcha. Smack's already taken. Smack's already taken, Domo. I say this to Esu too, but like, dude, Smug is going to be like the top priority for a lot of people, and it's already taken. Okay, it's the first one taken. Thank you for the opportunity. No worry. Yeah, Coffee Brand submit something too. Alright, submit. We should have Snake Lady making a gasm fest. Gasm fest. Oh my. Oh my god. Gasm face in pixel style? This is gonna be crazy. Okay.
The writers really didn't care about gameplay mechanics nor continuity. At the time, let's just think real simple on this. Why would Bulbasaur be able to use Whirlwind? It makes no sense. We're talking about Generation 1, so even if he were able to use Whirlwind for whatever reason, it wouldn't do anything. Because Whirlwind didn't do anything in a battle like that. It didn't do anything. It just made wild Pokemon run away. But even so, the writers did this in 2 episodes, which means this is probably some kind of running joke that they had going. They could have done anything, chalked it up to anime logic. Bulbasaur's a grass type, he could have shot Leech Seed, he could have used Iron Lamp, something, you know what I mean? But they had him use Whirlwind twice. Naturally, Pikachu and everyone else is pretty shocked. Are you surprised? And if you're a Pokemon fan, you were probably surprised too with how bad of a trainer Ash was. He just let Bulbasaur walk off. Hey Ashy boy, did you maybe think you could call out another Pokemon? I don't know. This is how wild Pokemon battles work. One faints, you call out another one, you capture the Pokemon. Surprise Pikachu would have been a nice secret weapon there. But there you have it, peeps. That's Surprise Pikachu in a nutshell. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this video, or you enjoyed my hat, or you just enjoy my content, leave me a big thumbs up, and let me know by liking and sharing this video with other people. You can comment down below and add your own surprise reactions to this video, and as always, I've been yours, Pretty Mario, and I'll be here if you click that subscribe button once again with some fresh new content. I'll try to keep up with it. I'll see you guys in the next episode, and as always, good gaming, God bless, and thanks for taking time out to watch this video. Now, I gotta tell you, I'm gonna be pretty surprised if I get a lot of views off this.
Bulbasaur, Whirlwind!
NANI?
So Pikachu was surprised because Bulbasaur, because Ash is like a bad trainer. I see. Pikachu was surprised because Ash is a terrible trainer and should literally be everyone's first guess. Yeah, I guess. Wait, so what's all taken? Smug, Surprise, and I don't know yet because I haven't checked on my Discord DM yet. Is there any video you want me to open, by the way? Or you guys wanna get back to listening to music? Yes, guys, send me some video, dude. I'm down for either, I see. Yeah, send me some video, man. What kind we looking for? Expecting Splash to do anything. Maybe that's what I'm expecting. I don't know. D&D horror story, perhaps. Again, is there other kind of video you wanna watch? Just anything really. As in coma, can't change my mind. No, not that theory. That theory is so sad, dude. I don't think I can fit Esu Horn in this resolution though. It's just not possible. It's so big, yeah. This resolution is just not like possible for me to fit her horns in. It's been 3 decades. Man is still 10 years old. That theory just gets stronger the more time passes by. Yeah. He also like resets his experience every time he go to a new region, dude. He's cursed to adventure forever. That's what it is. Sky, you sent me something on DM? Okay, I'll open it after this song, I guess. By the way, if any of you guys here play Guilty Gear Strive, you can hit me up if you want a match, by the way. Was playing with Yoshida yesterday and damn, game is pretty fun. He's not a real boy, he's a puppet. That's scary. I sure get Strive, but I'm saving money right now. Ah, I see. It's okay. You can get it whenever you want. But I'm telling you this, the net code is pretty impressive. Play with Yoshida yesterday, and it's like there's a lot of like teleporting, of course, because it's like Thailand. It's like Southeast Asia to the US, so it's pretty crazy. But between friends, if you want to just like have a fun game with friends, it's pretty like acceptable. So yeah, gaming between Thailand to the US, it's like doable now. It's crazy. Also, I made Motemkin. I don't want the mini spy. Dude, I made May. And she's called like the cheapest character in Strive right now, just because she just beat every big newcomer with like Mr. Dolphin. I mean May too, yeah. May players. Yeah, Yoshida, did you know that May is like called like the cheapest character in the game right now because of Dolphin spam? I need to get the game. It doesn't get key, yeah. But I gotta say, Nago range is insane. It is. But I think May is just like hard for a newcomer to deal with. If you don't know what you're doing against me, you're just gonna get dolphin spam to death, 100%. Yeah, I already hear people hating on me. She's the absolute, yeah, she's the absolute no crusher. Slapped to death by the dolphin. I hate May, she's cute. Exactly, she's waifu, dude. Waifu material. Alright, let's listen to some horror story, guys. Let's listen to some horror story. By horror story, I mean D&D horror story, right? Yeah, this one submitted by Sky Cypher, the player that ran away from the party. D&D horror story. Okay.
Hey guys, today's story is about a player named Mia who decided to not actually play the game with their
Dark Lord Esu. That's the best part. It's like the cutest sound ever, but it's the dolphin of death. Yeah, I love it, but Jacko and Ram have my heart on a leash. Did you saw the leak on the DLC characters? That was like this folder. That was like this folder. That was like people were data mining out of the game, and there's like a folder label with like abbreviation of the player character names, and some folders are like not a character that's currently in the game, so people were speculating that's like there will be DLC characters. Well, I guess it's not like a big spoiler, but I guess I'll just discuss them right now. So one folder was called ASK, right? Ask, and people were saying that was obviously Asuka Kreuz, and that is the name of that man. So we can expect that man to be in the game as a DLC character. Another one was like H something, I forgot, but it's obviously Happy Chaos. Okay, so the bad guy, the main villain of Strive, is speculated to be another DLC character. Another one was GLD, and this one is not so obvious, but it's people are saying it's short for Go Lewis, which is the big guy, the bad guy, the chubby guy from the opening. So he was suspected to be the DLC character too. And there's also JKO. JKO is, it's obviously Jack O, right? So Jack O is probably going to be returning. And next one is JAM. And that's just Jam, right? It's just Jam, dude. It's just Jam from Exert, okay? She's a famous character, so I guess she'll be in the game. Yeah, so that's all. I think that's all for now. So I was wondering that like Happy Chaos Valentine, he's a Valentine. If you guys follow the Guilty Gear lore, so he uses gun. If you saw in the OP, right, he have like a pistol for his weapon. So I was thinking, like, is he going to be some kind of like an Elfeld type character, because Elfel is not listed in the list of DLC character, right? So what if they just put Happy Chaos and then just have him fill like the Elfel slot of character? Maybe it'll be like that. I don't know. When are you going to watch the story together, Oni? Yeah, that's true. We gotta find time to do that. When are you guys free? That man DLC. Yeah. Should be interesting. JKO equal my wife. JKO equal orgasm. I really hope they bring old characters. Yeah, maybe we can look forward to like the second round of DLC for now. Okay, let's go back to the story.
Their party.
Oh, by the way, guys, so when are we gonna watch the story? How about? Well, I don't know. It's kind of like late for you, so I don't know if you guys are free, but like I can even watch it like after this stream is done or something like that.
Hey everyone, this story is from the first campaign that I've ever played. My girlfriend had a close friend who we'll call Kelly, who invited us to play D&D. Kelly took some time to explain to us the basics, but for the most part, we had to learn on our own. The DM of this was actually a friend of Kelly, who had been DMing for about a year, and we started the campaign with just the three of us. I created an edgy tiefling assassin rogue. Yes, I know, stereotypes. My girlfriend created a carefree tiefling bard, and Kelly was using a righteous dragonborn paladin. After about 3 sessions, another friend joined us, who we'll call Emma. She was a high elf sorcerer, and she happened to be a close friend of my girlfriend and I, so we were happy that she was playing with us. When the 4 of us were almost done with the first act of the campaign, we were in an archipelago, and the home of the BBEG was guarded by a giant kraken, whom my girlfriend managed to put to sleep with soothing music. And around this time is when a 5th player joined in, who we'll call Mia. Mia was a close friend of her DM, but had no experience playing D&D. Kind of like us, but she happened to be used to RPing. And Mia's character was a half-elf male druid who liked to cross-dress. We were introduced to her character after reaching the home of the BBEG. One of the first things that I noticed was that her character was getting very attached to mine, to the point where it became obnoxious for the rest of the party, especially my girlfriend. My rogue would go somewhere and Mia would go, "I follow him," sometimes talking over the DM and the other players. At first, we decided to let it go, because we thought that Mia was just excited to be playing, since it was her first time doing D&D, much like us, and that she would eventually calm down after a few sessions. We managed to defeat the BBG, and we all returned to one of the towns, at which point our characters were exhausted and decided to take a long rest. And this is where the problem started. Mia's druid decided to shapeshift into a cat and sneak into the house of the major when our characters were sleeping, to steal a valuable jewel that was worth roughly 50,000 gold. Her druid was spotted rather quickly and was confronted by the major. He told him that he needed it to free their people, and that he will return it to him eventually. Apparently, in their character's backstory, their tribe was enslaved and then killed by a green dragon. Our characters were completely unaware of this, since her character never told us anything about the past. A few sessions later, we reached a village occupied by Yanti, which were servants of the green dragon. My rogue infiltrated the village and started spying on the servants to find anything useful for the party. I had a communicator with me, so I was able to provide them with information, killing some of them while hiding the bodies. Mia's druid took the communicator and shapeshifted into a bird and decided to confront the leader of the Yanti alone, even though our characters originally told him that it was a bad idea. Needless to say, he was found out rather quickly and was surrounded by the leader and his lackeys. This alerted the whole village to our presence, and we were forced into a fight. There were around 50 of them, despite my character getting rid of some of them, and there was just the 4 of us. Mia's druid convinced the leader that he wanted an audience with the Green Dragon, because he wanted to be his ally. After some persuasion checks, they put some handcuffs on him and they decided to take him as a prisoner. At this point in time, the party was in pretty bad shape. Kelly's paladin had 1 HP, Emma's sorcerer was unconscious, and my girlfriend's bard was hidden with 10 HP. Meanwhile, my rogue was on top of a building, killing what he could with a ranged weapon. We eventually saw Mia's druid with what we assumed was the leader of the Yuan-Ti. He had a different outfit. My rogue, being angry at the fact that my party was dying, decided to snipe the leader in an attempt to kill him. And at this level, I did roughly 200 plus damage with a sneak attack usually. I had Assassinate and a legendary crossbow. So I took the shot, and I actually managed to hit him and leave him at the brink of death. My girlfriend's bard used thaumaturgy, and with some lucky deception and intimidation checks, she managed to scare off the Yuan-Ti, forcing them to retreat, while they left Mia's druid behind. My rogue went to free Mia's druid, and after lockpicking the handcuffs, he slapped my rogue, telling him that he needed to see the Green Dragon, and that I ruined his plans, and decided to run off chasing the Yuan-Ti. And do keep in mind that at this point, our characters, and especially my rogue, had no idea what relationship that Mia's druid had with the Green Dragon. So our characters were pretty pissed off when they ran off. Eventually, he found the leader of the Yuan-Ti in a cave and proceeded to prove that he wants to be their ally by healing the leader of the Yuan-Ti. And this was enough for them to take Mia's druid to see the Green Dragon. The Green Dragon recognizes Mia's druid and tells them that he's surprised that they live on, and ponders if others from the tribe survived as well. Mia's druid told him that he wished to be their ally, offering them the gem that he stole from the mayor, and any visions that he may have had, as apparently this character had the ability to see visions of the future, which is something that only the DM knew. They made a deal and took him away. There was a communicator on him the whole time, so my rogue knew exactly what was happening. I told the party everything, and we planned on what to do. We just decided to return to the town, and eventually confront Mia's druid about this whole ordeal. After leaving the dragon's lair, her character briefly returned to the party, and returning the communicator to me. This was nearing the end of the session, so we didn't have time to inquire her character, so we ended the session there. The next session, we found out that Mia's druid was nowhere to be found, with only the "he left somewhere" as an explanation. And for about 3 sessions, we had no idea where they were. Lucky for us, Emma's sorcerer had scrying. But after 2 failed attempts where Mia's character somehow mysteriously rolled nat 20s, we eventually found the city where they were hiding. At this point, we were all pretty annoyed at the situation, and we eventually decided to just question him and turn him over to the guards. After the party reached the city where Mia's druid was staying, my rogue told the guards what he did, and that he shouldn't be trusted. My rogue eventually found him at the entrance of an inn. Pissed off as he was, he shot him with a crossbow. I left him rolling with death saves. I dragged him to the room where the party was staying, and we began to ask him questions. Mia was pretty pissed off as well at this point, telling us that her character had no reason to trust the party, and that he did what he did because he wanted to help his people, and that we were the ones ruining everything. The others were having none of it. After getting very little information from him, to the point where my rogue just straight out left the room, we turned him over to the guards. He spent time in prison until he was eventually released because the mayor forgave him for stealing from him. Our characters were still angry and didn't trust him. We managed to kill the Green Dragon a few sessions later in a very anticlimactic 3-round fight. We stopped playing after that because the DM's hard drive was corrupted and he lost his notes. I know this is more of a cringy story rather than horror story, and the DM was very laid back and forgiving of Mia in comparison to the rest of us, and we often ended the sessions very frustrated. If anyone has any questions about my story, feel free to ask. And also to add to this, we played using Discord and Tabletop. In those 3 sessions that I mentioned, both the DM and her were doing an adventure on the side while she was listening to what we were doing. And in my opinion, she did metagame. 2 nat 20s against scrying does sound a little bit sus, but I could be wrong. We had no idea where her character was, or what it was that she was doing, until we managed to find out via scrying. Well guys, it kinda sucks that it seems like they were enjoying D&D up until this turd decided to show up. This person obviously had main character syndrome and wanted to feel special, and considering that the DM was effectively running a personal one-on-one game for them, I don't know why they just didn't keep the party out of it and just do their little private sessions on their own time. And moreover, if they wanted the whole party to go along with this whole killing the dragon thing for revenge of their tribe, then they should have at least given them a couple of bulletin points of why they're doing what they're doing, rather than just getting butthurt and running off to do what they want. D&D is a collaborative storytelling game, and it's better with folks working towards the same goal, rather than everyone just doing what they want, separately. But anyways, that's the end of the video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and as always, have a good one.
I copied the surprise Pikachu face, like, like exactly like that, exactly like the surprise Pikachu face. By the way, so listening to this story, I actually have something like this before, but I won't go into detail, I guess, because I already talked about the drama, in my previous stream. So, and it's on YouTube, so if you guys want to know my D&D horror story, you guys can go rewatch the clip on YouTube yourself. But yeah, I do have something like this myself in our group, and where there's like a character that get like special privileges from the DM because the character actually the character actually have a relation with a DMPC that the DM is running. So what happened is that like we all know that the character that's getting the special privilege, like they'll never die, right? No matter how close to danger they came to be, they'll never die. So we ended up like and this is kind of us metagaming a bit, but it's just to get back at the bad DMing, you know. But like we kind of just play around the special privileges character because we know that he will never come close to danger, you know. I didn't fix the social yet, by the way. If you check out the link above, there's a 2-parter epic story. I sent a PM on Discord. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's hey, you can just tell me about this in chat, by the way. No need to be, I don't think this need to be like private, but yeah, it's like pixel art issue, so details are pretty limited. So I need to work with what I have basically for this kind of art. Yeah, if you guys want to know my D&D horror story, it's I'll give you like a clip. Let me find it. Let me find it. Is it part 4? To draw monkey. I think it's part 4. Another group.
one. And
Problems such as like. Oh yeah, yeah. I opened like the scary music. From people playing Smash with me. I'm gonna open half the same. I guess I'll open some songs in the back. Oh. Yeah, okay, I found it. Maybe I should clip that to be like a separate video. Actually, no, I don't wanna I don't wanna promote my drama too much, you know. Anyway, yeah, if you guys wanna hear my horror story, you can go watch that. He was posting links. Yeah, oh gosh. It's all good. Yeah, too many details and it's hard to see anything at the normal emoji resolution. That's why expression are always kind of crazy. Yeah, but also like in pixel art is always about working I always think that like when you do pixel work, it's always like less is more. Like the more you can tell using the fewer details in pixel art, I think the better. I think a good pixel artist should be able to simplify uh, detail work into like a simple one. Okay, I'm just gonna watch this. There's this video in the related video from the clip that Sky sent me. It's a pretty interesting title. The title is "The Furry Who Made the Worst Campaign Ever." I don't know why when furries evolve. To be honest, I don't care about like furry. I don't think. I think I read some furry hentai before myself. I don't think I'm a furry, but I do like some furry work. But yeah, I don't know why. But but what I'm trying to say is I don't know why when it's like furry evolve, it's always like a very cringy story. I don't know why. I listened to like that one clip about the furry convention before, like the rain furry from the internet historian, and I'm like, what the hell? Anyway, let's listen to the story. Yeah, but as I said, this disclaimer, I don't like dislike furry or anything like that. Okay, let's listen to the story.
Hey, what are you doing?
Making a YouTube channel. Look, I'm behind on my rent, and if I don't get some money together, I'm gonna get evicted.
You're making a YouTube channel? Aren't you afraid you're gonna attract furries or scalies or whatever? You know, since you're a dragon.
What? No. That's stupid. You're stupid. Everything will be fine.
When are we gonna make your bad dragon toy? In bed, if you don't mind.
How are there so many of you? Greetings, adventurers, and welcome back to the Den of the Drake. Other dragons hoard gold, while I hoard internet cringe. If there is one guarantee in life, no matter where you go on the internet, you're gonna find furries. Despite the many controversies and stigmas, furries are f***ing everywhere. I've heard that when nuclear Armageddon inevitably destroys our planet, only the cockroaches will survive. Well, I'm willing to bet every single penny of ad revenue that I make on this video that at least a handful of those cockroaches are gonna be wearing fursuits.
Ooh, what's this?
That's kind of harsh.
Now,
to
I
be
just
honest.
want to preface all of this by saying that not all furries deserve their reputation.
That's true.
The few furries that I've actually interacted with seem pretty cool. From my own outside perspective, it mostly seems to be a one bad apple spoils the bunch kind of deal. However, when furry apples go bad, they go really bad. The story I have for you today revolves around one of these bad apples, and the furry path of destruction that they leave in their wake in this 6-part saga,
Six
which I
part?
will narrate all in one video.
What?
Now,
This
without
is
any
crazy.
further delay, let's go ahead and dive right into the horrifying world of r/RPG horror stories. Enjoy. Part 1 is titled, The Beginning of the Furry Man Saga. Here we will have the colorful cast for this horrible saga. No real names are used. Me, a then new player, playing a Dragonborn paladin who had some unfortunate experiences due to being the favorite. Jack Puncher, a dwarf barbarian, the most experienced of the group, didn't take no BS from nobody. Feather, an elven archer, probably the only normal person who was just there for fun and story. She got neither. Skeleton Man, our necromancer who despite his name did not get to raise a single skeleton. And our star, the Furry Man, our beloved DM, with who you will learn more about as the story unfolds. And a bunch of randos who usually left after 1 or 2 sessions because they had a lot more common sense than any of our main characters. Now, I'd like to tell you how the session started, but unfortunately I can't, because the Furry Man decided to start the session hours before the scheduled time, and before the party was even ready, because Skeleton Man was teaching one of the randos how combat worked, and he thought that it was the perfect moment to start the campaign proper, despite half the party not even being there. The fighting tutorial started with fighting skeletons in a field. This is fine for a combat tutorial, but not for the start of a campaign. So instead of fighting them in a field for no reason, they were suddenly fighting them in the middle of a small town. Again, for no reason. So, unprompted, the DM decided that they wanted to go through a giant door in the middle of town, which had also just simply appeared, with no input from the players. Once again, for no reason. So they entered the very generic dungeon. It was a mine, with skeletons in it. Now, don't get me wrong, a mine full of skeletons is completely fine conceptually for a first session, especially with a new player. It was just weird how all of this happened completely unprompted, with seemingly no rhyme or reason as to why it was happening, and no input from the players. Since the DM decided to start hours earlier than the assigned time, players had to be introduced halfway through. They started with me being introduced by simply already being in the mines for no reason whatsoever. Why was I in the mines? How did I get in the mines? I would love to tell you, but I don't know because I was never given an explanation. The second one was Jack Puncher. He was introduced by being inside of a box inside of the mines. How? Why? Even more questions that were never answered. You'll notice that this will be a common theme across the saga. We defeat the skeletons and emerge victorious from the mines. We carried as much gold ore as we could, which, after about an hour-and-a-half long side quest, where the DM repeatedly stopped the game for tens of minutes at a time to look up gold smelting facts to see what purity of gold would be required for a single D&D gold coin, at the end of which we were gifted our prize. About 50 gold coins for the entire party. Marvelous. It was in this mine that we found our main quest hook for the campaign. A book describing mystical cat people, with magic and technology beyond our wildest dreams, which the DM ruined any kind of mystique or interest we could have had around them by choosing to refer to them only as horny cat people. At this point, we returned to the town, where we learned one crucial fact about the world, one which would have been useful to know during character creation. Magic was considered illegal, except for potions and divine magic, which were both legal until they weren't, and then they were legal again. The DM was flip-flopping between what was legal and illegal so many times, I cannot for the life of me tell you with certainty what was legal or illegal in any given session. So my character and Jack Puncher decided to celebrate the best way that two martial classes knew how to celebrate, by drinking. This would later on reveal to have been a massive mistake on my part, because after one failed constitution roll, not even a critical fail, the DM decided that being a drunkard was now a core character trait of mine. And so my character would get drunk and get in usually nude hijinks, at least once per session whenever we were in a town or with access to alcohol whatsoever, without any input from me. This should have been a red flag from the start, but I took it as a one-off joke. Unfortunately for me and the players around me, it would not be. And so ends the first session of our great saga, with us setting off for more fun adventures. So I'm gonna take this opportunity between part 1 and part 2 to make something very clear. I can already visualize the hundreds of comments on this video saying, Drake is a furry hater. Hashtag not all furries. Or, Lamau, Drake hates furries as much as I do. Lamau, so based. I'm indifferent to furries. I sure as hell am not a furry. And I don't really know that many furries personally. So yeah, it can be kind of weird to me sometimes. But that doesn't invalidate the right that people have to enjoy whatever they want to enjoy. As long as it doesn't hurt any people or animals, I'm fine with whatever. And let's be real here. If hating furries is one of your core personality traits, I'm willing to bet my left nut that you are just as cringe-inducing as many of the freaks that we like to make fun of in the furry community. Yeah, that's right. I'm pissing off both the furries and the furry haters in one video. You see that? That's my entry in the monster manual. And this thing right here, that says chaotic evil. I don't give a f***. The Furry Man Saga Part 2, Rise of the DM NPC. We begin the part 2 of our tale with the party leaving the starting town on our epic horny cat people quest. On the way, we immediately meet Feather, who you will notice was not introduced in the last session. She was introduced by being a random trail guide, with no explanation either to us or to the player herself as to why she was actually there. Now, an interesting thing about this character is that the player made her a child in elf years, a fact which eluded the DM for the entire campaign. Needless to say, it made it very odd that she was a trail guide in the middle of nowhere, for no reason, with no connection to anyone around. And so we continued our epic journey towards the horny Catmans. We got into some uneventful fights that are not worth recounting and were mostly filler, until we arrived in the city at the edge of a cursed desert, which the DM then informed us was actually hell, and you could actually walk to hell. It was like a mile from the city. Our objective was on the other side of literal hell, but to cross it, we needed to find a guide. Our two guide options. The first one was described to us explicitly as a, I can't say that word, let's go ahead and go with defiler instead. Explicitly as a weird defiler, who immediately hated us and attacked a party member for no reason. He was already out, so we were definitely not going to choose him. So that left us with one choice. A choice that would haunt us for the rest of the campaign. The most epic, cool, badass, totally sexy, ooh-woo DMPC. He was being executed, although we would later learn that he was actually immortal, so we don't know why he even cared. After saving him by giving them a different person to be executed, because that's how the law works apparently, he mentioned that he will only guide us if we steal back all of his stuff from a specific house. because the DM had already had an adventure he ran with another group and wanted to see what we would do with it. His words, not mine. After this mild distraction that took about 45 minutes, we set off into hell, which apparently
Wow.
can only be
That
reached
sound
by
epic.
the power of the epic Knoll Furry DMPC OC. Weirdly fitting. Now, you may think that an epic quest that sends us through hell itself, filled with magic, twists, and epic adventure, would be fun. Its own arc, possibly enough to be a campaign of its own right. We got through hell in about half an hour of gameplay.
What?
Which, if you remember, was around the same time it took for us to get gold ore turned into gold ingots. So, in hell, we discovered that it effectively tries to be the opposite of what you want it to be, until it didn't. You see, the DM had set it up so that if we wanted something to happen, we would have to do a willpower save to think of how hard we wanted the opposite to happen instead. Until an hour later, where he just stopped us having to do that, and saying that it was never what he was having us do, despite it being exclusively what we were doing for the past hour. Funnily enough, a thing that we did want to happen happened, and the DMPC got eaten by a giant hell worm. Unfortunately, he was back within 15 minutes. Then we escaped hell. Did that seem weird? Anticlimactic and like we didn't really do much? Yeah, that's because it was. Once outside, we immediately see the city of horny cat people.
City
Just
of Horny
there,
Cat People.
On a hill, right after hell. Once again, another giant city, a simple jog away from hell like all good cities. We were described how it was all cool and Magitech looking, with large airships flying in and out of the city. Now, the city might sound like an interesting idea. A good place to explore, filled with mystery and things to interact and engage with. Now, unfortunately, none of those things happened in the city, and it just served as a glorified world hub for the entirety of the campaign. Once approaching the walls of this magnificent city, our DMPC guide informs us that the captain of the guard was his father, despite being two entirely separate species and being on the opposite sides of hell. Maybe there was a coherent explanation, like an adoptive father or something of the like. If there was, it was never explained, and to this day, I have no idea why this is the case. Upon actually entering the city, the captain of the guard, who had an eye missing due to his son, because trying to kill your family is cool and badass, and not at all edgy, allows us to enter the city. Surprisingly easy despite our guide being a wanted and hated criminal by everyone. We learn that this city is considered a hub among worlds due to its portal technology, allowing anyone to go anywhere in the multitude of all planes of existence, all for the massive price of 1 silver per person. It is also at this point that we learn that the backstory of my character is actually very important, and that despite never coming up before, is now the main quest. Because the DM didn't think we would make it this far, I suppose. So next up, we have to go and imprison thousands of evil spirits before they destroy all the worlds across all dimensions. And so we set off into the portal into a cave, which is a tale for another post. Stay tuned for part 3. Okay, so building off what I said in between parts 1 and 2, I just want to say that there's nothing wrong with inserting things that you as a DM enjoy into a campaign. In fact, I encourage it. It's going to be a fun way to share your interests with your party while also being fun for you. For those of you who have already seen the podcast episode I did with Crispy's Tavern, go watch it by the way, Crispy is awesome and an excellent podcast host, you already know that I'm fascinated by dinosaurs and other extinct creatures. In almost all of my games, I find a way to sneak in at least one dinosaur encounter just because I enjoy them. But there is such a thing as going too far. One important thing to remember is that just because you really like something doesn't mean your party is going to be as receptive to it. And that's okay. Whether it's paleontology, anime, Warhammer, Steven Universe, or even furry stuff, Different people are gonna like different things. And just because most of my party might get sick of a dinosaur-themed campaign after a while, doesn't mean that I think I'm a bad DM. You just gotta communicate with your players to build something that everyone will enjoy. And it doesn't sound like OP and his party really vibe with this furry-dominated world the DM has given them. And a flawed foundation can easily lead to a collapsed campaign, which is what I fully expect to see in the coming sections of this story. The Furryman Saga Part 3: The Ghostly Caves of Ethereal Wonder. So before we continue the story proper, I feel like I should explain my character's backstory a bit more, as it becomes the focus of the next 10 sessions, until the DM decided that he didn't want to be bothered by it being relevant anymore, and we never heard about it again. My character used to be an initiate of a knightly order. He was in charge of guarding what was effectively a Pandora's box, housing both thousands of evil spirits and the Order's patron spirit, all of which I released on accident. Originally, he was tricked by an evil spirit to open it, but the DM decided to randomly retcon that my character was so drunk and stupid that he went and opened the box that he was specifically tasked to prevent people from opening. Because, haha, I've decided your character is an alcoholic now. Because of one check in session 1. So my character's goal was to recapture all of the spirits and then put them back into the box where they belong. All the while with the help of the patron spirit, who hated me forever, not because I released the evil spirits and doomed potentially all of existence, but because I was a drunkard. Even though that was entirely the result of the DM retconning everything about my character several sessions into the game because he thought it would be funny. So we begin our quest to seal these spirits before they destroy the world. My spirit tells me the location where we must go, and we pay to teleport there. We find ourselves in another cave with skeletons in it. I would like to point out that at this point we were around level 5, and thus far the most things that we had been fighting had been skeletons and wolves. So we easily go through the dungeon and discover our strongest foe yet, a skeleton mage. So we do epic combat. And by epic combat, I meant it tried to cast Fireball, it got counterspelled, and then the barbarian smacked it and it was dead in one round. But then we met the real final boss of the dungeon, a ghost. Which just so happened to be the spirit we were looking for, and yeah, the big evil spirit that threatened the very fabric of existence, it died in 2 turns. Even then, it only took that long to finish it off because we needed to get the last hit with a special soul-capturing rock. After capturing the spirit, we wanted to go back, only to find that the portal was closed. We would later learn that we were supposed to buy a return stone that would allow us to go back from anywhere in the portal city. We were, of course, only informed of its existence after we had already left by the DM. So now we needed to figure out how to get back. As we discussed our plans on how to get back, we were suddenly interrupted by the DNPC, who was also here now, despite the fact that we ditched him before going through the portal, him having no idea of our plans, and the fact that we were in a different plane of existence altogether. He immediately began to offer us a deal where he could help us get back if we sold him our souls. I feel like I should mention that the return rock was 5 silver. So this dude was trying to get us all to sell our souls for 1 silver each. Naturally, we declined, so he proceeded to annoy us for the rest of the adventure. Eventually, Jack Puncher pulled out some devil summoning stones, which would summon a devil if thrown into a fire. We'd obtained these previously in the campaign, and he proceeded to toss these into some magical fire, because at this point we were more willing to make a deal with the literal devil than with the DMPC. So immediately a devil is summoned, and they are described as being of rather high rank, cool, collected, and powerful looking. But then they immediately break down and freak out, begging us to hurry up and make a deal lest the DMPC unleash his wrath upon him. It is at this point that we learn that the DMPC was not only a badass, cool, cursed, and not at all edgy gnoll, he was also immortal, effectively a demigod, and he has personally and single-handedly consumed the souls of millions of people, who he also personally killed. He was also so powerful that he was feared in all 9 levels of hell, and that the devils simply refused to deal with him for fear that he might consume them all. So, after some quick back and forth, we get a portal stone and we leave. Very epic dungeon, 8 out of 10. Would fight some skeletons again. Then we return to the city, having completed the first step of our quest, and that is where the session ended. Next up, we went into another teleporter, which brought us into another cave. Surprisingly, this one did not, in fact, have skeletons. Instead, it had a large ice dragon, who would not let us past, because she was worried for the safety of her child, despite being aware of the super death spirit which had the full intent to kill her and her child right behind her, within viewing distance, just down a hallway behind her. But no, she couldn't reach because the doorway was slightly too narrow. Eventually, we convinced her to let us pass and deal with the spirit, which we did quite easily again. We threw another evil spirit capture rock. Our way back ended up being much more dramatic than the adventure itself, as our teleport was hijacked by the DMPC, because he has the power of plot on his side, and questioning him is useless, unless he's being put to death by a local city guard, in which case he can apparently do nothing. He immediately demanded that we hand over the evil spirit that we had just captured, because he was too lazy to go kill and eat a local orphanage or something. So we give him the evil spirit and leave, just like that. It is also at this point that we notice that we have been followed by the infant ice dragon, who would become a favorite NPC among the party. We named him Borble. The DM then mentioned how the mother would be furious at this and hunt us down. She was never seen again for the rest of the campaign. Now stay tuned for the next part. I promise it will be a massive one. So I think that now is a good time to talk about the concept of show don't tell. I'm sure most of you already know what that is, but I'm gonna explain it anyway. Essentially, the whole idea is that showing a character doing something to communicate an aspect of who they are as a character is much more effective than just telling your audience about it. This concept is super important in D&D, because the audience is actively engaging with the story, unlike with a movie or a book. If the world feels flat, then it's going to be much more obvious in an RPG. For instance, I could just say, the dragon was scary and had killed many of the king's warriors. Or I could say, the colossal reptilian menace looms above you, the blood of the once brave warriors dripping from its scaled hide. From between each of its dagger-like teeth, you see an orange glow from a primordial hellfire that boils deep within its demonic throat. The cat-like eyes of the beast shine with a sadistic glee as it stares down at its prey. Not once did I explicitly say that the dragon was scary, but it was so much more effective in communicating that idea than if I had just straight up said that the dragon was scary. I'm not exaggerating when I say I physically cringed when the DMPC was revealed to be a demigod. Not once has this furbait done anything that could even remotely hint at a power level like that. Don't get me wrong, no amount of writing tips could ever make this character any less cringeworthy than he already is. He is a DMPC after all. And if that wasn't bad enough, he's also a furry and an edgelord. Oh boy, I just can't wait to see what super cool shenanigans this character gets up to. The Furry Man Saga Part 4, Jungle Jubilee. We start this part of our story with the party relaxing and unwinding in a tavern, when we are approached by the captain of the guard, who informs us that we are going to be deployed into one of 3 war zones. Apparently, we had been drafted into the military because someone signed our names onto this signing board in the middle of the city, which we didn't even know existed. Who? Why? We will never know. So, presented with 3 options, we choose to go and kill an ancient evil jungle dragon, which had apparently destroyed 90% of the Horny Cat people's combat airships immediately after they came across it. We didn't have any time to prepare our plan. We were immediately sent off into a supply depot a few miles away from the main military camp. Thus began the legendary show-off between Skeleton Man and Jack Puncher over who could run the fastest. Dice were rolled, and while Skeleton Man was sprinting at the speed of sound due to less wind resistance, Jack Puncher couldn't keep up with his little dwarf legs. This supply line back and forth lasted for about 3 hours, which, if you remember, is about twice the time it took us to cross literal hell. After 3 real-life hours of moving crates back and forth, we were tasked with infiltrating an enemy camp, because this evil jungle dragon apparently had prisoner camps staffed by vine zombies for some reason. So we go in and engage in a very easy combat, where we kill a bunch of plant zombies. It was at this point that the DM got increasingly angry that the fireball spell was incredibly effective against this horde of enemies vulnerable to fire damage, and proceeded to go on a 20-minute rant about how he hated this spell and wished that no one used it. And so he proceeded to nerf it in an inconsequential manner that had nothing to do with what he ranted about. And then we finished up the combat. Among the prisoners we rescued was a bunch of horny cat people, including the big mean general of the army, and 2 gnolls who will go by the names of Ted and Larry. 2 grown gnoll men who decided to follow Feather after she gave each one a good berry, and they just wanted more food. So it became a running gag that Ted and Larry always ate all of our rations, so that we never had any. Keep in mind that neither of them had any negatives in intelligence or wisdom. So there were these 2 fully grown, average intelligence adult men following a small elven child. And that was the end of that session. In the next session, we were again presented with 3 options on how to move forward. One of the options was to investigate a strange golden temple in the middle of the jungle. Upon arrival, we found the DMPC throwing fireballs at the gates of the temple for some reason. Because even here, in the middle of a cursed jungle, surrounded by the horny cat military and full of plant zombies, we can't escape him. After unsuccessfully forcing the gates open, the DMPC leaps onto a tree and, all cool and edgy like, watches us from afar. And then when we entered the temple, after Jack Puncher simply just punched the gates open. Once we were inside the temple, we discovered that it's actually a temple to the god of magic, who was also just here, in this random temple in the middle of the jungle, in person for some reason. The first puzzle was quite simply a classic pressure plate trap, which, after being activated by Jack Puncher, shot arrows through the walls at the party. Luckily, we managed to pass unscathed. After that, one of the most absurd of all puzzles I have ever seen started. This one had a giant rock in one corner of the room, and a pool of some sort in the other, and also a briefly described drawn triangle on the floor. My first instinct was to try to drag the rock over to the pool, but there were 2 issues. 1, the rock was chained to a hole beneath it. And 2, after a short while of pulling it, the rock would retract into the same spot, damaging everyone in the way. What happened then was 2 excruciating hours of the party fruitlessly trying to solve the puzzle. Remember that triangle? There was just a triangle drawn on the floor. So the elf, after 2 hours of trying literally everything else, who I would like to remind you is a small child, went up to the triangle and tried to use the Pythagorean theorem on it. It worked. It turned out the solution was to find out the perimeter of a triangle and then write it into the Roll20 chat. It had nothing to do with the rock, the chain, or the pool of water, or anything else in the room at all. It was just find the perimeter of the triangle on the floor. We proceeded to go into the next room, which had a magical mirror in the middle. The mirror would show you your true self, or your greatest/deepest desire. It was kind of random, not really consistent, and what it showed you ended up not mattering at all for the actual puzzle. After a while, Jack Puncher decided to try and punch the mirror. After a natural 20, he was immediately allowed to just skip the dungeon and get to the end. He spent the rest of the dungeon literally eating popcorn with the god of magic, while watching us through magical cameras like this was Big Brother or something. The solution for this puzzle? Wait 10 minutes for the DMPC to come in and blow the mirror up, which opened the door to the next room. So the next and final puzzle was to fill the cylinder with a specific amount of something after calculating the volume of it. There was nothing outrageous or crazy about it, it was just boring and uninteresting. And then we were teleported out of the temple after a pointless conversation with the literal god of magic, who was named Loki, and was another Lamau random trickster god who was in fact a super powerful human, because gods don't exist in this universe. Only really powerful beings pretending to be gods for some reason. So we got out of the temple. We did some pointless side quests and met a nature goddess, who was a bee lady, just chilling in the middle of this cursed jungle, I guess. She only let us go because she liked the ranger, since the DM knew that her character was a ranger and literally nothing else, and so just assumed that she was automatically very naturey. The goddess also gave us some magical honey, which could just cure all diseases and heals fully back to maximum HP instantaneously if you drink a drop of it. She gave us like 6 jars, because that's balanced. Afterwards, the DMPC approached us and said that he knew a ritual to summon the god of magic so he could help us, even though we literally knew where he lived and it was a 20-minute walk. But it was ritual time, I guess. After the DM described how he did some cool magic stuff for the ritual, like using his magical fire gloves to turn sand into glass, we met with Loki once again, who then teleported us into his special magical dimension where only he could use magic. He agreed to help us if we did one thing. We had to beat him in a children's card game, and we had to bet something of value to each of us. The bets that were agreed upon were a bit extreme. He wanted Jack Puncher's strength, Skeleton Man's magic, my ability to wear clothes, and he wanted Feather's virginity.
Oh, go f*** yourself, you furry degenerate.
Once again, reminder, small child. Now at this point, we probably should have left the campaign. For reasons unknown to this day, we did not. And then we played a children's card game. Granted, this was probably the only session we actually enjoyed. The card game itself was pretty fun. It was basically TV Yu-Gi-Oh!, as you could basically just scream out whatever would make sense for that card to do, with no actual rules. After beating Loki in his game, he gave each of us a boon. For the Ranger was a legendary magic item at level 7. For the Wizard, it was being able to see all magic. He effectively had the detect magic spell on at all times. The Barbarian got even more strength and a greater strength cap, even though he already had 20 strength at this point. And then came my boon, which was a black chicken, which he described as a black cock, because he thought it was hilarious. He gave me this after I said the word chicken in a previous out-of-character conversation a few minutes before.
Not bad,
And the
not bad.
DMPC, who was also here for some reason, asked to have his sanity back, because he totally isn't edgy. Come on, guys, please. And then the god of magic opened a portal into the forest dragon's dream, who was in fact a spirit from my backstory that was possessing the entire jungle all at once for some reason. Now for this fight, we were in our spirit forms or whatever. All this really meant was that you couldn't use magic items because they didn't have a soul, unlike all of our other non-magical equipment, apparently. So started a boss fight, with a large imposing dragon creature. This was probably the closest we got to an actually difficult fight in the entire campaign. Now, before the fight actually started, the evil dragon started to bribe us to his side, using the classic, "I will give you your heart's desire" spiel. The dragon promptly got cut off by the DMPC, who said, "He's trying to bribe us, that means he's scared," and then promptly initiated combat before we could say or do anything. Now in the start of combat, the dragon hard focused on the DMPC, dealing well over 100 damage in the first few rounds of combat. The only effect this had on the DMPC was that he willed his magic items into existence somehow, such as his magical greatsword, which did like 2d10 unresistible soul fire damage, which also did another 2d10 unresistible soul fire damage at the end of every turn, after they were only hit by it once. After regaining his magic items, the DMPC flew up to the dragon and proceeded to get the last hit and killed the dragon as it was trying to fly away. I don't know where to because we were in its own mind. The DM then informed us that it was such a shame that none of us got the last hit on it, because then you would have gotten a really cool ability. But it went to the DNPC instead.
Oh,
Well,
no.
better luck next time. Oh my god, you fucking dickhead, I hate you! I have never been this angry at a Reddit post before. I mean, I already have an irrational hatred of DMPCs, but this is the biggest fuck you could possibly give your D&D party. Oh my god, I hate it! A door just appeared, and we left the spirit realm. It was around this moment that the DM mentioned that he had nerfed the dragon midway through the fight, because he realized that we might actually lose, which managed to completely undercut all the positive feelings we had over the first actually difficult fight in the campaign, leaving only regret and disappointment. It was at this point that we appeared back at the military camp, because apparently while we were fighting it in the spirit realm, it was attacking the military camp in the real world. And we were hailed as heroes who defeated this great threat which just caused massive casualties and destroyed unknown numbers of massive airships. And we received our reward, 500 gold, which we had to share between each other. We were then informed that this was the commander's monthly salary in the military, because apparently killing ancient dragons in the process of wiping out their entire military is something a commander is expected to do by the month. Then we had this grand celebration for our victory over the dragon, during which the DM had my character get drunk and run around the camp naked, before running into the general lady's tent. He then had me roll for charisma to see if she'd want to sleep with me. Of course, none of this had any input from me, as I was basically sitting there not saying anything as the DM was describing to me all the random shit they were having my character do. The next morning, we were informed of our new mission. We weren't allowed back to the hub world anymore, because apparently whoever drafted us into the military had also signed away any rights we might have had. Guys, I still have 2 full parts of this story left, and I can definitively say that this has to be one of, if not the worst DM we've covered on the channel. It's like this one furry bastard decided to make a checklist of all the things I hate that DMs do, and then started doubling down on all of them. The railroading, the DMPCs, the degeneracy, the overpowered magic items, the underpowered magic items, rewriting character backstories, doing things without player consent, and advances on underaged characters, and DMPCs. Yeah, I know I said DMPCs twice, f*** you. You know what? We're just gonna go ahead and jump into part 5. You don't need me to tell you why all that shit is bad. And we all know it's only gonna get worse. So I'm just gonna grit my teeth and try to get past this story, much in the same way I would pass a kidney stone. The Furry Man Saga, Part 5, Shitty Skylines. It's a town building campaign now. So today's story begins on a giant airship, as we are being taken into a random-ass village in the human empire from the start of the campaign. Because the horny cat people wanted to invade the humans, so they could liberate all the wizards and the magic people, or so they said. To achieve this, they sent us to this remote human village to build a forward operation camp for the cat people. And by that, the DM just meant, I want to run a town building campaign for like 3 sessions. So everyone decided what kind of building or establishment they wanted to build. Except for Feather. The DM just declared that she was building a ranger station in the woods, with no input from her at all. Jack Puncher made a tavern, because he's a dwarf. Skeleton Man tried to make a hidden underground wizard lab in the mountains, but then he was informed that if he wanted to make a hole in the mountainside using stone shape, they needed to hire an architect. So instead they ended up making a tower, because apparently towers don't require architects, unlike holes in a wall. Then we got to me, where I wanted to use grow plant to increase the size of a tree so I can make a house out of it. The DM interpreted this as me making a massive, elaborate, intricately detailed treehouse, as in a house made out of the tree itself, without any kind of role or hiring an architect, unlike everyone else who had to roll. I was also informed after this that apparently I did all of this in front of the headquarters of the Anti-Magic Inquisition of this small town. Right in front of, as in directly across the street from them. But they never did anything about it, so I suppose it's fine. Next, we went into our first exciting venture in this new land. A small hamlet that was being plagued by demons, which the DM explicitly stated was inspired by Darkest Dungeon. We were hired to free the people of the hamlet from their devilish oppressors, who were in a cave, like everything else in this world apparently. So we proceeded down this imp-filled dungeon of wonders and disappointment. Immediately into the dungeon, we were faced off with imps. Skeleton Man if he could roll an arcana or something to see if imps are resistant to fire. The DM said okay. After an arcana roll of 23, the DM said that no, they are not resistant to fire. So next round, after casting Fireball and hitting the imps, the DM says that they take no damage because they're actually immune to fire. Of course, because the furry man still doesn't know how to balance combat. This combat still lasted about 2 rounds, one of which the wizard wasted. After proceeding further in and defeating the imps, we reached the center of the dungeon and encountered 4 succubi. A lightning succubus, a fire succubus, and 2 regular succubi. So we engaged in an epic, thrilling, legendary combat, which took about 3 rounds before all the succubi surrendered. And then we looked at our prize. Piles of gold and gems. And then the DM spent over an hour calculating exactly how much gold this would be, calculating the volume of a single gold coin, the diameter and worth of every gem you can think of. And after this hour of literally nothing happening, the DM said, wow, that's actually way too much gold. It's actually silver. Also, a demon hand comes out of a weird portal and just yoinks away half the pile, leaving us with a combined total for the entire party of about 1,000 silver. So 100 gold to divide between our level 9 party. So about 20 gold per person for the entire dungeon, which I would like to point out is only twice the gold we got at level 1 for harvesting gold from a mine in the very first session. Also, apparently, the people who hired us, explicitly having hired us, had never agreed to actually pay us. It was at this moment that the DM chose to mention that Ted and Larry, our 2 gnolls, were apparently having graphic intercourse with the 2 succubi in the corner for some reason. And then we returned to town, with the succubi in tow because they had just decided that they were going to follow us forever, for some reason. And it was at this point that Skeleton Man got a letter from the cat people, telling him to make a magic college for some reason. Immediately after agreeing, the cat people sent Skeleton Man 8 magic students, which in turn just meant the DM gave him 8 blank character sheets with nothing but a class, and told him to fill in everything, which Skeleton Man did. The students would never show up or be relevant to anything else, ever. After another session of boring town building where nothing happened, we were given our next mission by the horny cat people. This mission was to go and rescue a noble, who was an alchemist, from a noble party in the capital of the human empire, which is apparently only a day away, despite our village being described as very remote and in the mountains. Everyone got a nice, typical fancy-looking disguise of sorts, except for Skeleton Man, who decided he was going to wear a gold-plated suit, have one of the succubi turn into a tiger, which they would then ride on, and have the other succubi turn into an exotic parrot. Needless to say, he was being a bit extravagant. The carriage was also driven by the DMPC, because we will never escape him. Once inside the actual party, I was immediately confronted by a group of Dragonborn nobles, who asked me where they could meet the king. Keep in mind that at this point the DM had never given us any sort of lore about this country, surrounding countries, or anything of the sort, so I didn't even know who these people were. After saying that I didn't know where the king was, they angrily stomped out. And then the DM informed me that I had just started a war less than 5 minutes into the party. This would never come up or be relevant again. So we began trying to rescue the alchemist noble. After finding him, we asked him to follow us. He replied by saying that he couldn't simply walk out of the party or they would find him. And so we went to his mother, the actual queen of the human empire, who could do nothing about the human empire trying to kill him apparently. She told us that we had to leave through the secret passage, because apparently the regular secret passage was common knowledge. We took the alchemist down into the secret passage, which was blocked by 2 guards, whose armor made them immune to magic. Like all of it as a concept, thankfully this armor apparently gave them no resistance to being stabbed by a dagger, which just killed them instantly. Then we escaped the city and rode away on our carriage. This was followed with half an hour of the DM complaining about how he prepared all of this material for intricate political maneuvering, and that you didn't engage with any of it, despite the fact that we had no reason to engage with it. We had no idea who these people were, what they were doing, and why we should care. The DM would not answer any questions about any of these subjects. We then took the alchemist back to our village, who decided to live in the magical school. He was never seen or heard from again, much like everything else that entered the magic school. Then, after one final session of town building where once again, nothing happened, our town was attacked by strange bug-like creatures who were capable of spitting some sort of mucus, which would then give you an extremely deadly disease. So we ventured into the forest to find these bugs, which we did almost immediately. We found a group of about 6 of them, which engaged us in combat, which was very easy. Except for the last bug, who, despite taking about 5 times the amount of damage of any other identical bugs, ran away without a problem. After asking if we could chase him, the DM replied with a sound no, despite the bug having 30 feet of movement speed, and us having people faster than that, and the fact that we had a ranger. We weren't allowed to chase it for absolutely no reason other than the DM just saying no, without any further explanation. Of course, this ended up not mattering, as these bugs were never mentioned or relevant again. This was also the session that made Skeleton Man take the wise decision of simply leaving the campaign, because he had had enough of the DM's BS after the infinite health bug. He never got to raise a single skeleton for his entire stay in the campaign. Aw man, can we all pour one out for Skeleton Man? Like, imagine making a thief rogue and then never being given the opportunity to steal stuff. That would be maddening. I can imagine that being Mr. Skeleton Man probably doesn't feel too good because you're a necromancer without even one spooky, scary skeleton friend, and that's gotta be a crime against God. But I guess that's just one more crime against God to add to the mile-long list that Furry Man has been working on. At this point, all we can do is just cross our fingers and hope for some semblance of a happy ending in the 6th and final part of the Furry Man Saga. The Furry Man Saga, Part 6. We finally make a good decision. We start today's story with the DM telling me that my Holy Spirit, who has been asleep ever since the big plant dragon fight, is not feeling all too well, and that I no longer have my paladin powers. And to get them back, I would need to go to a special snake people clan in a desert continent, which was briefly mentioned in previous sessions. The party followed suit, because this was the main quest now, and we didn't have anything better to do. Before we set off to our journey, Jack Puncher receives a letter from his mining sources, saying that a mine was being overwhelmed by, guess what? Skeletons! And the mine just so happened to be the way to the Snake People place. So we're doing this side quest now, I suppose. Upon arrival, we learn that the skeletons appear to have some form of tremor sense, as they always knew where the dwarves were mining. So our ingenious plan was to get all the explosives from the dwarves and blow them all up. After the explosion, the party got separated, with me and Jack Puncher on one side, and Feather and another rando on the other. The way back to camp was clear for me and Puncher, but Feather and the other rando had their whole little side quest to find their way back. On the way, she not only found valuable gems, but also a small kobold colony. As a small child without any knowledge of what money was or how much gems were worth, she gave most of the gems away to the kobolds, who then decided to follow her like she was their queen or something. And as a thanks, they showed her a secret passage back to the dwarf camp. After yet another drunken escapade, we finally made it back to the Snake People place, where their main priestess told me that, apparently, a fraction of the big evil plant dragon spirit got into my soul, and is now slowly taking over my good spirit. Yes, that same big evil dragon spirit whose souls got decimated and eaten by the DMPC. Apparently, 1/100th of his soul got into my body some way, and started to possess me. Then, when asked why, the priestess replied with, "Because they are cousins," which is a thing that my spirit didn't mention at all during the whole time we were working against them, but whatever. Afterwards, the snake priestess informed us of our next big quest. The human empire had gotten their hands on an ancient artifact crown, which granted the emperor invulnerability and his soldiers immortality, and he was planning on assaulting the desert continent and dominate its warring clans. But she also told us that the desert continent had a second, lesser ancient immortality gifting artifact crown that was shattered into pieces. Each clan held one of the pieces of the MacGuffin crown, yet all but one of these pieces became irrelevant, because at this point, even Furry Man himself was aware that his campaign was dying, and just wanted to get this plot point dealt with. Eventually, we made it to the first and only clan that we were going to convince to give us their piece of the MacGuffin, which was coincidentally the Dragonborn clan. At which point the DM unloaded a whole backstory's worth of information about my character's background, all of which was made entirely by him, with absolutely no input from me whatsoever. He just added a whole lot of stuff to my background without consulting me. But this was just basically the end of the campaign, so whatever. The Dragonborn weren't going to give us their piece of the MacGuffin because there was a huge debate between two Dragonborn princes. The king was close to dying of old age, and whoever the next ruler was would get the MacGuffin piece. After attempting some good old diplomacy to convince them to give us the MacGuffin piece if we helped them win, we came upon the conclusion that they were both complete dicks and wouldn't help us, despite us getting some decent rolls on the persuasion checks. What came after was a few hours of Feather and the DM discussing about dwarf and dragonborn blood types, whether they were compatible or not, and about vague dragon blood related rules and traditions. This resulted in the rest of the party being absolutely, utterly bored. But the end result was turning Jack Puncher into a legal dragonborn via a dragon blood infusion. And so, this random dwarf who got a blood infusion like 5 minutes ago walked up to the dying king and after one good persuasion roll, convinced him to give him heritage to rule the Dragonborn clan. Because the king's sons were rude and unnecessary dicks, and it worked wonders somehow. After getting the Dragonborn piece, we learned that the Snake Priestess has gotten all of the other pieces in the time span it took us to get only one, by herself just like that. So she united all of the pieces into the mega, but not so mega, MacGuffin crown, which apparently got the attention of the gods/not gods enough to give us all a wish spell. But considering how the DM had completely disregarded our backstories, and our characters didn't really have any goals anymore, none of the wishes were really relevant. Except for Feather. Feather wished that Borpol learned how to fly and how to talk. Finally, the DMPC wished for a brand new world, which was actually going to be a plot device to get us into a new campaign. One DM'd by yours truly. However, instead of falling into the endless abyss of cringe and suffering that would have been having Furry Man as a PC, I instead made my own server, without him, and hosted my own game, free of his shenanigans and weird plot points, all the while he freaked out about it in the background. Everyone celebrated gleefully that night. End of story. Well, first things first, I think it's time to celebrate. Because this is the longest video I have ever made up until this point. And my god, it was the most painful. Not only because I've been standing in my closet for like 2 hours talking about furries, but also just because of the vast list of things this DM did to piss me off. After I finish recording, I'm gonna go ahead and pour myself a tall glass of a clear liquid that makes the pain go away. It's either gonna be tequila or bleach, I haven't decided yet. Before we go, let's go ahead and take a look at this week's Gallery of the Drake. This fan art is done by viewer EXV18 and depicts myself clutching some of my most prized possessions from my horde of internet cringe. Those being my YouTube play button and a body pillow of Jessica Rabbit. I just love the look on his face. It's like, Mom, I told you to knock before coming in here. Drake, you're a grown man. You shouldn't be cuddling with fake women on body pillows anymore. Shut up, Mom. Her name is Jessica and she's real to me. Truly a masterpiece of modern art. But perhaps we need a second opinion. Artificial DM, what do you think?
First, he brings you to the den of the Drake. Then he brings you to the bed of the Drake. Ooh.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And no, I didn't take that clip out of context. If you run to his channel and tell him that I did, I will deny it. Thank you again, EXV18, for submitting your artwork. If you want to see your artwork featured in Gallery of the Drake, be sure to send it to the email in my About section. It means the world to me that I can make content that inspires artists like you to create artwork like this. Thank you again to Artificial DM for lending me his beautiful voice for the beginning of this video. Artificial DM was one of my inspirations and one of the main reasons I built my channel in the first place. So do me a huge favor and head over there and subscribe. He makes great stuff. And it's important to acknowledge that if there was no Artificial DM, there would be no Den of the Drake. Now with the story over and artwork displayed, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up the video. I would like to thank you all for listening, and I hope to see you next time in the Den of the Drake.
Wow, that was a long one, huh? I'm about wrapping up stream as well. I know there's like more requests, but I think I'll leave it for tomorrow, cause we're nearly like we're over time now anyway. Is Yoshida still here? I was planning on watching some Guilty Gear Story after this if Yoshida is still here, but I don't know like you're still here or not. Is there more story? I feel like I have some horror story favorited.
Channel in the first place. So, great.
There we go.
Greetings and salutations, my men.
Oh yeah, Yoshida is still here.
Now,
Okay.
I think we can all applaud a new player when they start.
Yeah, we can we can watch the Guilty Gear Story after the stream is done. I guess would be a good time.
Getting into role playing, but what if they get really into role playing, if you catch what I'm saying? Well, that, sadly, is what we're going to be exploring today. And before we get into the video, I've got an announcement. Many of you have seen the community post that went up on Wednesday, but for those that have not, a bunch of other creators and myself have put together a new YouTube channel specifically for D&D content, not D&D horror stories though. And the first real piece of content that we have planned is a one-shot amongst all of us, with Artificial DM being the DM. Makes sense given his name. And something we're doing that's going to be a lot of fun is having our communities make our characters. So the reason why I'm making this announcement is to announce that tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, I'll be going live on my Twitch channel so that we can have the chat create the character that I'm playing. And mind you, I'm sparing no expenses at giving you guys creative freedom. You can pick my race, class, subclass, you're going to be point buying for me, and you'll even pick my name when this is all said and done. I'm sure it'll be hilariously stupid, but that's kind of the fun of it. And what's also going to be taking place on tonight's Twitch stream is the Q&A video that I promised back about a month ago to celebrate this channel's 1-year anniversary, which we hit on, I think it was May the 23rd? Somewhere around there. But we hit our 1-year anniversary, and I promised to do whatever you guys voted on, and you all voted on a Q&A video, so that's going to be taking place on tonight's Twitch stream as well. And like the character creation, that's also going to be made into a VOD available to anyone on my Twitch channel. So, links to both the Dice Goblin YouTube channel and my Twitch channel are in the description below. Be sure to check them out if you're interested. Anyhow, that's all for the announcements today, so let's roll for initiative and get on with the story. I'll start off by giving you all some context. I've always been interested in the storytelling aspects of RPGs. However, I haven't had the greatest of experiences when trying to get into traditional tabletop role-playing games, like Dungeons & Dragons and the like. Stories for another time, this is long enough as it is. So, around 7 to 8 years ago, while I was still in high school, some friends I met through World of Warcraft suggested that I could GM, if you can even call it that, a sort of a choose-your-own-adventure style session for them that was primarily focused on plot and roleplay. The actual mechanics were very simplistic, and pretty much only there to settle the occasional dispute, since the purpose of the whole thing was sort of a collaborative writing adventure, where the main focus was to tell a story with me acting as the story's narrator. To this day, I'm not sure whether they came up with the concept on their own, or if this style of play has an official name. They literally just called it a narrative RPG. I'm sure the more experienced among you can tell me whether that's a thing or not. And to the DM's point, there's probably several games out there that are like this. The first one that comes to my mind is Dungeon World, which I've not actually played it, but everything I've read makes it seem more with a narrative focus over a gameplay focus. So I'm throwing my hat into the ring there, but if you happen to know anything else, leave it in the comment below. I definitely want to check it out, and I'm sure everyone else is interested. Anyhow, let's continue. I've never been much of a role player, but I am, I'd like to think, a passable writer, especially considering that English isn't my first language. So, in spite of my reluctance, I eventually agreed to create a narrative for their characters. Given the rules-light nature of the game, a lot of the restrictions had to be enforced by the lore, and just general common sense. But I rarely had anyone going into business for themselves, since doing so would have been counterintuitive to everyone's enjoyment. There were ways to get your character killed if you really wanted to, sure, but I had no incentive to deliberately stifle anyone, nor did the players have any reason to go out of their way to pick fights they couldn't win. Overall, it was a surprisingly fun time, and it gave me a chance to flex my creative muscles. I started putting more and more effort into the world, crafting stories and adventures my players could choose to partake in, with different outcomes depending on their actions or inactions. That is, until a player I'll just refer to as Jane came along. Jane started as a new and pretty active member of the World of Warcraft guild my friends and I were a part of. She and one of said friends, henceforth referred to as Loverboy XXX, because he will read this and I'm feeling petty, had apparently grown close and were all up in each other's DMs. Nothing wrong with that. At some point, he had even told her about our group's weekly online sessions and invited her to join. I was officially introduced to Jane via voice chat and gave her a rundown of the setting, the current campaign's progress, and the general guidelines for designing her character. She seemed pretty receptive to it all, and was eager to join in on the party's adventures, even going the extra mile by making her first character my world's equivalent of a healer, so that the party, who were a tight-knit band of former cutthroats, had an incentive to bring her along. It created an interesting dynamic where Jane's sheltered character grew accustomed to the world at the same rate that she did, bringing some much-needed contrast to the party's composition. If I absolutely had to nitpick, I'd say that she liked playing the role of damsel in distress, a bit too often for my liking, but no one else seemed to mind, so I refrained from commenting on it at the time. Without going into too much detail, the setting was a blend between traditional fantasy, Egyptian mythology, and Turkish folklore, where the party often had to leave the safety of the capital and venture into the untamed desert in search of long-forgotten tombs, treasure, and the like. Following the party's decision to side with the guards during an uprising, they were invited to the palace, where they were to meet and be congratulated by the royal family themselves for playing a pivotal role in subduing the rebellion. Pleasantries were exchanged and meaningless titles were granted before the party were sent back off to their base in the slums. If that sounds underwhelming, it's because that was the point. I was trying to establish how detached the nobles were from the plight of their subjects. Despite all of my efforts to write them as condescending dicks, one of the members of the royal family, who I'll just refer to as the prince for simplicity's sake, seemed to have left an impression on Jane's character. To clarify, the prince was the youngest of the king's sons, and the embodiment of narcissism. I wrote him to be as douchey and elitist as possible, which made the healer's sudden crush on him all the more baffling. Yes, I described him as very physically attractive, but that was literally his only redeeming quality, and there was no shortage of traditional attractive NPCs, and player characters surrounding her constantly if she really wanted to go down that route. That said, Jane's character was meant to be naive, so I figured her swooning over a guy that despises everything she represents could have been used as a highlight in her inexperience. Unfortunately, it was nothing as self-aware as that. Both in character and out, Jane kept bringing the prince up, much to the rest of the party's annoyance. She insisted that they fully align themselves with the crown in hopes of earning more favor, while simultaneously asking me when they were going to be meeting him again. As you can probably guess, Loverboy XXX was particularly and quite vocally against this for obvious reasons. Perhaps I should have been more stern in railroading them away from that entire plot point, but in my defense, I was really committed to adapting to everyone's choices. Jane got her way eventually, dragging everyone along with her and forcing me to come up with more and more stuff they could do for the local gentry. I made a point of clearly telling her that their efforts were appreciated, but it wasn't getting them any closer to another audience with the prince. Keep in mind that this was an NPC I hadn't even put that much thought into at the time, since I never really expected him to be anything beyond an entitled prick whose entire purpose was to symbolize the blatant disconnect between the common man and the ruling class. I could have, and eventually did flesh him out more, but at the time, nobody apart from Jane cared about him enough to justify doing that. Loverboy XXX was getting pretty fed up by Jane's infatuation with my NPC, and out of character demanded that we move on to something else. I explained that I'd been presenting them with different plot hooks this entire time, but instead they just kept catering to their healer's whims, who had pretty much assumed somewhat of a de facto leader role. If nothing else, the mental image of a ragtag group of hardened outlaws following around a teenage girl pursuing her crush was sort of amusing. Finally, picking up on the group's frustrations, Jane relented and we were allowed to move on to something else. It was at this point when Loverboy XXX's character started trying to get closer to Jane, which, while awkward at times, at least made more sense since they had a thing in real life. Both of their characters were of similar age and didn't interfere with my storytelling. Jane was open-minded to the idea, but didn't seem particularly excited about it. Her healer and his cutthroat continued with their in-character flirting through several campaigns, but their relationship never evolved past the occasional innuendo or remark. All was well until that fateful evening, when I saw that Jane had messaged me several times on Skype. When I opened our conversation, I saw paragraph upon paragraph of her, I'm assuming in character since most of it was surrounded by question marks, proclaiming her love for the prince, and straight up demanding to meet him again. It's been a long time, so I don't remember exactly what she said, but I distinctly remember her threatening to leave the friend group altogether if I didn't make it happen. She went on to guilt-trip me by saying that it should have been my fault if Loverboy XXX, I kid you not, killed himself over her leaving without a word, since she was apparently helping him battle through some mental issues none of us were aware of. I honestly had no idea how to react. I remember just sitting there, reading through her messages, and trying to formulate some sort of adequate reply in my head. Eventually, I settled on the worst thing I could have probably done. I proposed to narrate a private, non-canon exchange between her healer and my NPC. Obviously, she agreed and was pretty enthusiastic about it, as though she hadn't threatened my friend's mental health in order to get her way. I have no excuse for choosing to indulge her instead of immediately talking to Loverboy XXX about the whole thing. I guess I was both worried about him and scared of our friend group disbanding, which eventually happened anyway, but over an unrelated incident. Fast forward to the day of my private session with Jane. The scene opened with the prince standing on a balcony, overlooking the royal gardens, and her character being invited into his quarters. I obviously knew what she was after, so I made up some BS reason as to why he had taken a sudden interest in her. I don't remember what it was, exactly. Both expressed their inexplicable infatuation with each other, and things obviously got heated. So I hurried to fade to black, but Jane wasn't having it. She was basically expecting me to ERP with her, something I had never done and had no interest in doing. I explained to her that, at that time, I wasn't really interested in exploring naughty stuff both in and out of character. Cue the explicit images. That's right, folks. Jane seemed to have thought that all I needed was some inspiration, and so, in her infinite wisdom, proceeded spamming me pictures and gifs of explicit acts she wanted my character to do to hers. Then, she went on to make the whole thing 10 times weirder by expressing how this sort of content was making her feel. Though both of us were 18 at the time, I still don't feel comfortable recounting her exact words verbatim. Let's just say she was making me increasingly uncomfortable, until she left me no choice but to tell her off, which she took as well as you'd expect. She left the group soon after and blocked all of us, including Loverboy XXX, who took it hard, but got over it after confiding in the rest of us instead. Not sure what Jane has been up to since then. I had seen her mentioned in passing a few times before our World of Warcraft guild got disbanded for good, since most of us moved on to other games and hobbies. Apparently she is currently married, so I genuinely wish her all the best, and hope that she has grown as a person since the above-mentioned incident. Only recently did me and Loverboy XXX reconnect, who you can thank for reminding me about Jane and directing me to this subreddit. It's a mildly uncomfortable experience at best, compared to the other stories I've read on here, but I thought it might still be worth sharing. End post. OP, that was definitely worth sharing. She had a few screws loose, to say the least. But like you said, hopefully she's grown as a person. As you said, the very worst thing you could have done is do that one-on-one session. I probably, as much as the other players would not have liked it, tried to weave it into the actual story, and I likely would have pulled them aside and explained that that's what we were doing, because she threatened to quit the game otherwise. And who knows, maybe everyone at that point in time would have agreed to just kick her and avoid the problem altogether. You know, get people talking behind the scenes a little bit, and maybe gauge exactly where Loverboy XXX's mental health was, because I suspect she may have been lying in order to push the OP to do what she wanted him to do. And as a few comments pointed out, maybe she actually had a crush on LP. Well, according to him, all of this was in character, and she really didn't talk or do anything with him out of character. So, in his opinion, she probably didn't have a crush on him, but we'll really never know. Anyhow, that's it for today's story. As I said earlier, be sure to check out the Twitch stream tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, and to follow both that channel, and subscribe to our new Dice Goblins YouTube channel to see how our new D&D content goes. Anyways, the source of the video is in the description below, and as always, if you like the video and you want to see more videos just like this one, be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell notification icon next to it in order to be notified of my future videos. And while you
Okay, thank you. So that's the story. That's the story, and I'm back to speaking now. So yeah, stream is done for the day, but not exactly done just yet, cause I think we're gonna be watching the Guilty Gear story with Sky and Yoshida after this. Yeah, just hanging out, watching the movies. I'm not picky. Feel free to go with whichever you feel like you use more. Yeah, that's why I suggest a straw poll to see what everyone wants to go as the base emotes of the channel, since eventually they'll be all in a tier or slot. Hey, Persona Music. Yeah, you know, chilling out at the end of the stream. If anything, you can always slot around later. Oh, okay. My subs renew on 23rd, so I'll probably switch up to tier 2 then. Swap it around later. Okay, how do I open straw poll though? I don't really know how to like operate these. How do I open straw poll? Oh, this clip actually comes with the raining sound. Well, yeah. You can actually create a poll on Twitch. Can you? Hey, Lux, you came. Welcome to the stream. I'm about to end the stream, Lux. Are you about to start your stream? But we're gonna be watching some Guilty Gear story later on. Hey, Rustican, welcome to the stream. If you type poll in chat, yeah, okay. What do I need to do though? Poll. Oh, okay, there we go. Question. What emote should be in tier 1? Let's do that. Esu. Price Esu. Angry Sumire and Smart Nasco. Okay. Setting allowed it. You know what? Duration 1 minute. Duration. Let's do 3 minutes. Start poll. Let's go. No, I'm not streaming today. No idea for polls. I see. Oh yeah, I forgot to shout out. Yeah, shout out Lux, Elas. Yeah, go follow them. So that's the poll. Does it come up? How do we check the? Oh, here we go. Yeah. So this is Smart Nasuko, right? This is Angry Sumire, and this is Surprise Esu. Looks, you have the cutest. Surprise Esu, is that 1? Oh, 33%. Oh my god, you gotta break the you gotta break the tie. Break the tie. Okay, Angry Sumire is at 2 now. Mods also do poll too. Oh yeah, that's true. It's angry character do smug. Mods can also do poll. Thank you, Kobe. What to vote for? Okay. Surprise Esu is that too? Angry Sumire at 3. I kind of want Smack, not gonna lie, because that's just my sort thing. Dude, Smack's already taken, dude. Or do something else. Oh yeah, looks. You want to submit like some emotes for my community emotes? That Smack one is pretty good. Okay, Angry Sumire is at 3. How do I know when does the poll run out though? I said like 3 minutes. I don't know if it's like run out or not. Oh, I saw it. I saw the bar. We need more waters. They are pretty good, yeah. I mean, you know, I can swap it around later. But yeah. For now, I just decide what's gonna be what. I'm gonna work on more tomorrow, Lux. I'm about to end the stream today, but yeah, I'm gonna work on more tomorrow. Angry Sumire at 3. There would Smack. Expose. The bar's ticking down. It's like 2-3-3 right now. I vote for Esu, but I like them all. Oh, okay. Voting's over. Angry Sumire and Smack Nasuko at 3 points. Okay, I'm just gonna choose between the two, I guess. So, let's go for. I think I'm gonna go for Sumire just because I like the expression that I draw. I just said make it Smack one. What? Really? Nah, I'm going for Sumire, I guess. I'm exercising my authority as the owner of the channel. Okay, and it just like personally, I just like how I draw the expression more, to be honest. Okay, so Sumire for tier 1. Oh, it actually looked pretty good. Pretty nice. Nice looking. Okay, enter emote name Onigen. So, Sumi Angry. That's the emote name. My decision now. We can break the tie, just put it out there. You'll see the smart one day. Alright, tier 2. Tier 2. Okay, that's gonna be one long emote name. Yeah, that's true. But I mean, I don't know. I don't like that it like put me it need to start with like Onigen for the emotes prefix, but I guess that's how it's gotta be. Okay, let's vote. Tier 2, I guess Mark Nasuko, I guess. Surprise Esu is the most expensive one. Is that how it is? I wish you could like change the prefix, but oh well. Hey Lux, do you wanna submit your emotes too? Like I'm accepting emotes idea for my channel. Basically, I'm drawing other people OC to use as emotes for my channel, cause you know, I've been thinking throughout the week that like, you know, my stream isn't that big, so, and it's just like my friend hanging out usually for my streams, so I'm thinking about doing emotes for like all my friends and just combining it into this channel. That's what I'm planning to do right now. Only way to do that is to get partner, unfortunately. Ah, I see.
Searching all alone, facing twilight alone, without the
Hey, thank you, Yoshida. Thank you for the. Has used 100 bits to show love. Thank you. Now I'll let you decide it. Ah, I see. Yeah, if you ever have like a character you want me to draw for emotes, so I'll be happy to do it.
for you to draw. I'm a sharpshooter.
Oh, Smug Nasuko seem to be winning by a lot, so Smug Nasuko is probably tier 2 emote. So this is Surprise Esu and this is Smug Nasuko right here.
Moments of calm, nothing left to be found.
Okay, Smug Nasuko wins.
Here I
So
ride from
tier 2 emotes.
this where I
Nasu Smug. Nasu Smug.
reflecting that's a truth. It's telling what's the truth told. I need that mask.
Okay.
I'm a
And tier 3 is Surprise Esu.
masquerade. Heart in both face and mind. Afraid for you to draw. I'm a sharpshooter. Chained down to my core. Please don't take
I drew a lot of emotes and put it in FFZ. What's FFZ? Franker face? Is that what you're talking about? Also, you can put your emotes in FFC and then just use it on your channel. I guess that's nice. Maybe that will be what we'll do. Good idea. Good idea.
I can't tell you.
Now I gotta get a tier 2 now. Oh, it's gonna be a while until Twitch accept the emotes, I guess. That's what I heard. It took like 1 week or something.
Will it unleash me?
Yeah, it's Stranger Face, see? So, Stranger Face is like, it just display emotes if you have the add-on, right? And then it's display on your channel.
I'm a sharpshooter.
I'll look into it, I guess, if I don't get more emote slots. You can rotate it back when you have more slots. Yeah!
Afraid for you to draw.
Gotcha.
I'm a
Okay, so tomorrow I'll be working on more emotes from Coffee Brands, and from Sky. I'll make a note on my folder, I think. Emotes. Thanks for being so awesome, Moni Sensei. No problem, no problem. Yep, what Luke said. Okay, do you guys all use Stranger Face, by the way? I know it's a popular add-on, but yeah. Okay. I have both MFZ and Better TV. Oh, okay. Everybody have everything. Alright. Gotcha. Okay, so stream's ending today, guys. But it's not actually ending because I'm gonna be watching some Guilty Gear Story with Sky and Yoshida after this stream. But it's not like exactly a stream. It's more like me hanging out with friends, I guess. So if you guys wanna, come hang out, feel free to come hang out. But if there's something else you wanna do, well, stream is officially kind of over, I guess. So yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you for coming in. So Sky, you ready? You ready? Yoshida, you ready? Thanks again for streaming. Thank you guys. Bye, Oni. Yeah, I'll still be here watching some Guilty Gear story mode. Okay, you wanna come into Discord chat? Yeah, let's just like have some like movie nights or something. It's gonna be a long story though. I don't think we'll finish it in this session. It's like a, I don't know, it's like a lot of hours. I'll hop on in a bit, okay? Watch along. Yeah, I should change the stream. I should change the stream genre first. Wait, how do I change the stream genre again? Gotta grab my food and turn on my PC. Yep. Alright, I'll hop onto the voice channel on my Discord. If any of you guys want to watch along, we're gonna be watching some Guilty Gear story mode. And yeah. It'll be like some Friday movie night or something like that. Okay, games, just chatting, okay. Okay. Thank you for coming in, guys. Thank you for coming in. And I'm on the Discord voice channel if you guys wanna come in.